people are like, I heard real estate, there's a lot of money to be made in real estate. There's a lot of money to be made in flips. There's a lot of money to be made in mortgages. All right. Welcome to another episode of Mindset Mastery. I'm your host, AZ Araujo. Go ahead and log in. Let me go ahead and send one final reminder. It's just something that I do. Although I've been doing this for years, I still like to give those final reminders because I think these meetings are important. Being in a conversation with other small business owners that maybe remind you of the things that we have to do today, right? The things that we have to do in order to stay the course of trying to build something great, trying to build a business that provides us not only the monetary value, but also this internal value, right, of purpose and drive, of the things that wake us up and make us go after the things that we want. And sometimes that's the tough part, right? Trying to get our mind in alignment with our actions, our mind in alignment with the result. But I'm telling you this, after our Ignite event, and I know not all of you could have made it, but it was an unbelievable event. And I was just, really just sitting back and observing the entire award ceremony. Usually I'm just too caught up in trying to make sure that we're delivering at the level that I expected us to deliver at, that this was the first time that I really was just able to kind of disconnect myself from the entire event and just see it from a third person perspective, where I saw the different moving parts and how my team was just handling the different obstacles that were coming our way. And many of you just didn't realize that there was things that we needed to kind of improvise on and pivot on as we were going through. But for the most part, it was an unbelievable success. I've never got this type of feedback ever in the 5 years we've been doing the Ignite event. And just so much gratitude for that. And, we were even thinking back, like, what were we doing before the Ignite event? Well, I got a text from one of the agents that reminded me what we did prior to the Ignite event. And for those of you that have been here for, 6+ years or so, you remember our award ceremony took place at like a Mimi's Cafe. And the awards were nowhere near the type of recognition we were given at this level now, right? Where we have a big stage, we have 200+ people in the audience, just, being there to witness what you've achieved. And I got to tell you, we've come a long way as an organization. We've come a long way with the people that we have here within the organization. And I think for us as business owners, we have to be clear about who we are and the kind of clients that we want and who we want around us. And, I named this peer pressure because there is this peer pressure that an environment like this will put on you. And it's not the type of thing where it's supposed to like scare you away. And if you look at peer pressure, they usually start off, the definition of peer pressure, they usually start off with saying something like, well, if it makes you feel uncomfortable, then it's probably, something you shouldn't be doing. But I think in an environment like this, you're going to feel uncomfortable because it's really going to expose you to how much more you could have put out there for yourself, for your business, in every aspect. I mean, this pressure is good to be able to feel. And I know a lot of people didn't show up because maybe they didn't get the award that they wanted. Maybe they felt that, they don't deserve to be at this award ceremony. But I always encourage everyone to come in because sometimes we need to be able to look at our truths in the face, knowing that maybe we did leave something on the table, knowing that we didn't push as hard as we should, as hard as we've been telling our family that we have. Because at the end of the day, if we're consistent with the right actions, you're going to get the results you want, especially in a year time frame. The problem is stepping into that, doing the right things for a short period of time, and then expecting those results. And when they don't come together fast enough, that's where the peaks and valleys of our actions stem from. Is not allowing it to compound on itself. And compounding is like one of the seven, what do they call it? The seventh wonder of the world or eighth wonder of the world, just because it is an unbelievable result, right? Where things just don't make sense after a while. It's not like a simple, math equation where it really just morphs on itself, where again, it just doesn't make sense. And this compounding, I've seen it time and time again. I mean, I've seen the growth from so many individuals that started very much the same way as many of you have started in this industry, where you maybe felt overwhelmed, frustrated. You felt down on yourself. You felt the pressure of finances, right? Of not having the right finances. The pressure of not being able to create the lifestyle that you see so many people at AZ and Associates creating. And it makes you question yourself. And I've seen that. But I brought 3 speakers up to the stage so they can tell you their story to hopefully inspire you to continue to take the actions necessary today. Every one of them had the doubt. Every one of them faced hardships. But the difference between these individuals and most of individuals in this industry, because they are top 1% for a reason, is that they were able to shift and adapt and pivot much quicker. It didn't mean that it didn't hurt them. It didn't mean that they didn't lose confidence or certainty. It just meant that they pivoted faster. And one thing that they all said was that the environment, that what we have here allowed them to do that faster, quicker, with more power. That's what peer pressure is all about, positive peer pressure. I'm not talking about the high school peer pressure here, right? Whenever I thought about peer pressure for a long time, I thought it was negative. Don't succumb to peer pressure. Well, it is negative if you have the wrong people around you. Peer pressure is about having the right people. Just like, what we have here. The negative peer pressure is if you're in a situation where you want to create more, yet you're in an environment that all they want to do is want to disconnect more, right? Disconnect from the work, disconnect from the responsibilities and just hang out and party all weekend. I mean, that, of course, that's not going to serve you. To me, that's negative peer pressure. Or being around those individuals that don't, have the same goals and ambitions as you do. That's negative peer pressure. Because you have more, more give on what you can or can't do. You don't have to be as disciplined when you're around individuals that are not pushing as hard as you are. So I get why so many people did not show up that should have probably been there. Even though we had 200 plus individuals there. I think we should have been on the second floor by now, but many people feel the pressure of not delivering. And as opposed to facing that, right, and maybe getting re-inspired to push for more, realizing that everyone goes through the ups and downs, they'd rather just, separate themselves from being exposed. And this is a conversation we'll continue to have, right? And the key to this is to show up so you can see the truths of your actions, so you can shatter the narratives that play in our minds over and over again. How is it that these individuals can continue to push facing the same obstacles as you do, if not bigger, and still produce at the level they are? And it's not necessarily that they have a greater ability, it's that they're able to see the things that don't serve them and pivot much faster. And that's the whole point of growth. So that we're not stuck at a Mimi's Cafe, right, Isaiah? And that's what peer pressure does. It makes you better. Positive peer pressure. I'm not talking about the negative. I'm not talking about, the commercials we used to see growing up, right? About, what's that dog's name? McGruff, Detective McGruff or something along those lines, right? Say no to drugs, that whole thing. All they talked about was peer pressure. And listen, we're in a situation where this pressure right here is positive. We want you to get better in all aspects of your life. And for you not to fully immerse yourself in this type of environment, I think you're leaving a lot on the table. I think you may be looking for the easier path, the wide path. Here we continue to go down this narrow path where we understand that we're fully responsible for the outcomes of our lives, every aspect of it. Every aspect of it. And when you're constantly under this pressure, of course, you're going to want reprieve. There's many that want reprieve. And going back to old patterns, old relationships, around people that don't necessarily serve us, but they are more forgiving. And this is something we talked about last week, right? These individuals are more forgiving than those that expect more from you. That those that want the best of you. And some of you are blaming your spouses or blaming the relationships you're in as them holding you back, when in fact they're just wanting more from you. And that's not a negative thing. And it's only a negative thing if you don't rise up to that expectation, which it should be your expectation. And I'm here to tell you that, this peer pressure has created many diamonds within the organization. I don't realize, and it's hard, right? When you're in this environment, I think we're all at fault of it. We don't realize how special it is until we're plucked out of it, until we see a different contrast to it. And many have tried that, right? They think that this is normal and somebody else can lead them to where they want, so they end up leaving the organization, only to find themselves moving from one place to the next, and it's like they lose all this momentum because they forgot how special this is. And I remember one individual that moved 5 different brokerages after they left here, and they said, I was looking for the thing that I had, AZ. I just didn't realize it. And you don't realize it at the moment you start creating that space. At the moment you feel the pressure and feel uncomfortable because people around you are pushing the envelope. It doesn't mean that you concede at that point. It means that you just have to make some changes and move along with us. I understand what it feels like to feel like you're being left behind. I get it. But it's not that, the environment is putting this undue stress or pressure on you. It's that it's really exposing you to become better at the end of the day, right? And having these different individuals just walk up on stage and just own it. It made me so proud and it made me so honored as well, because I can go down the list, from top to bottom, and feel like every one of you can deliver at that level. And I want to be able to present that platform for all of you. But you have to put that pressure on yourself to really own who you are and create what you're capable of creating. And you need that pressure, which means you need to involve yourself as something as simple as mindset mastery, as something as simple as one of our trainings. Even though you've been through it so many times before, all you need is that one nugget. And that one nugget can completely transform the trajectory of your business, especially with your wisdom and experience. And we were able to recognize so many, first-year producers, like rookies this year. One of them hitting $8.9 million in sales in their first year. I mean, it's an incredible accomplishment. But more than anything, it wasn't luck. It was knowing that things need to get done, regardless of how we feel. And that's the same thing that our top producers showcase on a consistent basis. It's not getting thrown off by what our minds initially tell us, that it's never going to work out, that things are tough. Maybe this other place will give me a better opportunity. Maybe doing this other thing, I can make a lot of money in. Have you ever heard that, right? People are like, I heard real estate, there's a lot of money to be made in real estate. There's a lot of money to be made in flips. There's a lot of money to be made in mortgages. But what we fail to realize is that it requires a well-oiled machine to create a lot of money, regardless of what industry you choose. And what I'm saying here is we have an opportunity to really make 2023 the best year ever. Even though the demand is not as high, the opportunities are abundant. Many people are still fighting with the fact that things shouldn't be this way when they've been this way for now 6 months. And the reality is you got to understand what your role is as a business owner. And one of those roles is to make sure that you're marketing on a consistent basis. Every one of those individuals that got up on stage are master marketers. And some of them do it better online, and some of them do it direct marketing, face-to-face, text messages, being at birthday parties. But that's one thing that I always got about business. It's like if you don't market, you don't have a business. You're showing your close sign on a consistent basis. You have the tools available. You have the knowledge and experience available to make sure that you're putting the right messaging out there. But yet many can't put themselves there consistently because of what others may say, like you're marketing too much, it's the same thing, I've heard you say this before. And it just boggles my mind. If my livelihood depended on my ability to market, which it does, I'm not going to stop. And that's where you need to look at this from a bigger perspective. Yeah, it may be uncomfortable, right? To reach out to clients that you haven't touched base with in 3 years, 5 years. Yes, it's uncomfortable, but what's more uncomfortable is struggling to pay the bills or beating your head against the wall because you're not getting more new clients. And I get the lure of new clients. It's a new relationship, right? You can showcase who you are and dazzle them with your skill sets. Well, it's not so impressive when somebody's already dealt with you, right? And that's why many won't go back to the very clients that they've served for in the past. It's like this buildup. It's this buildup of trying to impress them. And then at the end, when keys are delivered or the house is sold, it's like this fallout. And these individuals that were on stage have demonstrated that they can work through the delivery of keys, through the delivery of sale by just being human, by just wanting to create that relationship and not just that transaction. I could only imagine if my end goal was just to bring people on board and then all of a sudden just start looking for more and more agents to bring on board. It's not sustainable. Of course, I'm going to lose passion for what I do. I'm going to burn out. Because if all I'm trying to do is to bring people on board and stop there, then this would all fall apart. I'm in it because I want depth. I want to get to know everyone here within the organization. I want to deliver at a high level. And this whole thing of just chasing new clients, you're going to get tired. It's going to wear on you. And this is where we need to go deeper. Marketing allows you to do that. One-on-one allows you to do that. Conversations, text messages. Just being a caring human, right? Overall, that's all it is. And putting that pressure on yourself to understand that this is what it means to have an experience with your company. The Susan Neville experience, the Leonard Rivera experience, the Shonda Dunn experience, Jermaine Robertson, right? This is how much you have to embrace who you are in this industry. It's the experience and pressuring yourself, right? Pressuring yourself to make sure that you deliver on that experience time and time again. That's the difference. These individuals on stage, that's what they've mastered. Our top 1% have mastered that. They know the experience their clients will go through from the moment they step in through the moment they deliver keys. And beyond that, you will get exposed if you don't do that. But sometimes it's hard to see that if you don't like the peer pressure around you. The pressure of knowing that you have to level up your delivery. Your skill sets have to increase. And leveling up your marketing so that not only are you putting things out there for social media, but you're also reaching out to them individually. These guys on stage have mastered that. Building rapport, building relationships. Because although new clients is required, right? Required for a growing business, so is higher price points if you want to continue to grow. You can't deal with the same type of price point forever. But if you build the right relationships, guess what? Those buyers now become sellers. And those sellers now often look for bigger homes. That's how you increase your price point. But if you're forgetting that relationship, then you're pigeonholing yourself into a certain segment. Always working with first-time home buyers. Always work with individuals that have a hard time qualifying or need assistance. That's called pigeonholing yourself. But in order to get a seller to buy a bigger home, it requires additional skill sets. And it requires an investment of your time. We all know that, but yet we forget it. Some of you have sold hundreds and hundreds of homes to different clients, but yet haven't touched base with the vast majority of them. And if we were to break down what you're actually leaving on the table, it would make you sick. It would make you sick to realize what you're leaving on the table and why your family that depends on you to build around a system around yourself continues to be the ones that you sacrifice. Because without having the right systems to be able to deliver for these individuals, then those that you love most will always be the sacrificial lamb. Because everything is dependent on you and only you. And chasing the new clients, which is exhausting. So as we start pivoting, and that's what I want you to do, thinking about pivoting to where the rest of 2023 is, I need you to go deeper here. Present opportunities to the people you know, not just do a dog and pony show for those that you need to impress to hopefully use your services. And like I said, getting new clients through the pipeline is so important, but not at the cost of the people you already delivered for. Those individuals will bend over backwards for you, I promise. If you deliver, which you have, if they have a home, you've delivered. If you sold their home, regardless of how choppy it was, regardless of how many challenges you had to overcome, you still delivered. The end result was to sell the home. The end result was to buy a home. It's kind of like in sports, right? We could, at the end of the day, we can blame the ref for making a missed call, or blame a player for causing a fumble which lost the game. I mean, we could look at the details of it all, but at the end of the day, it's either a win or a loss. It's a win or a loss. Everything else is forgotten. What it took to get there was forgotten. So we have to be able to embrace the fact that we won. If we got them into a house, we won. Your clients won. If we were able to sell their home, then you won. Your clients won. But sometimes we get caught up on the details. Maybe they remembered I fumbled the ball. Maybe they remember that, this other thing happened. At the end of the day, it's your job to continue to stay in touch. Again, new clients is good. But so is higher price points. And so is return business and their referrals. Those are the only ways you can grow a business. New clients, higher price points, and having them buy more frequently or through referrals. But B and C, right? A seems easy, like everyone could go out there and try to get the new clientele. B and C is takes a little bit more skill sets. It takes a little bit more time. It takes an investment. But if you see yourself on stage then this is what's required for you to grow a thriving business. A, B, and C. Those are the only three ways. New clients, higher price points, return business or referrals. That's it. Write it down. And if you're only relying on new clients and your business is broken, if you're still only selling to first-time home buyers, there's a problem there. You forgot about the people you delivered for. Right? Because homeowners, no other homeowners. Correct? And when homeowners sell, they typically buy more expensive homes. So we got to put ourselves in a position where we can thrive exponentially for 2023. And you have that advantage. But don't forget, you got to build rapport. You got to deliver after the fact. We create an environment here because I'm committed. My goal has been very clear from the very beginning. And I said, I don't want just hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of agents just hanging their license here. That's not what I'm about. That's not what we're about. I've always committed to the highest sales per agent ratio in our market. Always. Which means I have to become a better business owner, a better leader. I have to create a better environment to help support that. And we showcase that on stage. You saw the numbers. You heard the stories. And it's that pressure that you need to put on yourself. Your business relies on you being able to have a powerful message. Okay, remember that. If marketing is a burden, then you shouldn't be in business. If marketing is a burden, then you shouldn't be in business. It is a blood flow of what you do. Marketing to new clients and marketing to the clients you've delivered for on a daily basis. And coming in with that intention, and something Ruben said that was very important, he said energy. Having the energy to know that it's a battle, right? As soon as you walk out through the doors of your home, it is a battle. A battle to deliver, a battle to overcome obstacles, a constant battle to grow. So if you didn't make the award ceremony, if you didn't get the awards that you wanted, I need you to imagine yourself there. And that's the only reason we invest in such a big event. And trust me, like, there's many brokerages that don't even do this because of the cost. It's expensive. It's very expensive. Every year we're planning for a 200 plus, wedding event, feels like, right? And that's exactly what we're putting on. Plus all the awards. It's a heavy investment on our side, but I'm telling you, you're worth it. I'm telling you that I want that pressure on you so you can continue to excel. So many conversations lead to of how the Ignite event really got them to see something bigger for themselves. Right? Rudy told his story about how he was at the very back of the auditorium. Right? Kind of just sitting there. Afraid, but yet saw something bigger. Now he's in the front row, giving an incredible speech of what it took. And he constantly dove into the pressure, the peer pressure of it all. He didn't hide from it, although at times he felt like it. And if he did, it wasn't for long periods of time. You need to understand that this environment only wants the best for you. Because at the end of the day, it's like you're the only one who's going to reap the rewards or the consequences of it all. So why not make it the best of it, right? Then we had Craig Morton talk about how A simple conversation just completely changed the trajectory of his business, $30 million plus. It's not every day that you run into a $30 million plus producer. You just won't. They're rare. He's not 1%. He's like top 1% of 1%. But he reminded you to be yourself powerfully. Then we have Danielle, right, who understood that leadership requires work. It's not just given to you through production. And she's emerged as powerful, right? Letting go of the narratives, the stories of like, hey, people should just follow. She realized, no. I just have to rise. And then Ruben to bring it all together and just simplify the fact that it's just a mindset moving forward, right? Simple energy and intention. He does the same things as we all do. He's intentional about his food prep, right? He saw a picture of him yesterday with all his meals prepared. Going to the gym every morning to decompress. Otherwise, this business will chew you up, spit you out, step all over you. So I hope that you were able to see something greater for all of you that attended of what is possible. This is just the beginning, and I'm committing to having more individuals share their stories because it's inspirational. I was there. I was like going through this roller coaster of emotions. I was laughing. I was like, trying to hold back tears. The amount of feedback we got, it's all worth it. I'm willing to make this investment. And like I said, I would love for all of you to receive awards. I'll spend that money. I don't mind it. Because I understand the outcomes that it provides you. The confidence and the certainty. And that's what we have to lean into. Becoming a better business person. Becoming a better person overall. But again, we're going to have to constantly audit ourselves and be exposed. And although sometimes it hurts, it feels shameful, it's the only way to grow. Otherwise, you get stuck. Otherwise, you're going to be at the mercy of the economy. Like these individuals have demonstrated, regardless of the economy, that they're still going to produce. And yes, with any economy, there's always going to be a market. And I think right now it's an opportunity for you to really grow your market share. And not necessarily see the individuals within the organization as your competition, as Danielle so eloquently described, right? It's not the competition. Here is not your competition. The only competition is the stories and the narratives in our mind of scarcity. Because the opportunities are abundant, and you know this. So we're going to be putting out videos of the event. We're going to put out photos. We took plenty of photos, so I'll have a big drive for all of you to go in there and share. But what did you like most about the event? We did so many things differently. Go ahead and type that up if you can. What was your biggest takeaway, or what did you like the most out of this event? But I had so many messages the following day. And it was just, I had so much just gratitude of how we were able to pull this off. And this is on the back of so many other projects that we had. And I was going over my journal, because I go through this journaling process every morning. And if you care to hear more about that, please just reach out and I'll share with you what questions I ask to get my mind going, right? To jog my memory, to really have powerful sessions every time that I journal. And, I'm 1 week removed from feeling so overwhelmed, right? I literally was typing in there like how am I going to pull this off? I had the big money brokerage event. I have this venture that we worked out with for a brokerage in a different state. I have the new the inner circle coaching that I launched. And then I have to do these one-on-ones and also do the Ignite event. It was like so much, and yet I handled it, right? Because I gave myself no other option. You hear that? I handled it because I gave myself no other option. Options are insane, right? Options is what really throws off many businesses, is giving yourself permission that it's okay not to do it. Now, did I do it without kicking and screaming and having my, my own dysfunctions wrapped around that, right? I was probably more impatient. I was probably frustrated. But that's what pressure does. It frustrates you. That's what growing does. Learning something new frustrates you. Pushing your capacity is frustrating. That's why most won't do it. So think about that. If you're not feeling frustrated for the right reasons, I mean, many people get frustrated because they're not doing anything. Of course, not having the results is going to be frustrating. It's going to be debilitating, as a matter of fact. But pressure is of learning something new and the frustrations that come along with it. It's meant to better you, right? You don't come out of it less than. You add to the basket of wisdom. You add to the basket of experience. Hearing the story from other producers, we all go through struggles. It's just a reminder that no matter what you're going through, you're not alone, and you have to keep going. And it's a simple reminder, but it's so powerful, right, Joanna? It's like, it just makes you understand that we all are going through this human experience. And to be able to see that on stage and every one of them deliver at the level that they did, I was just, my mind was just blown away. And, I was made aware of how talented our brokerage is, right? Just because you all work on putting yourself out there, like really just being aware of our habits, being aware of the stories that we held on for too long, being aware of our narratives, of our experiences, of our hardships, and being open with that allows you to go up there powerfully. And every one of them have done that. And your clients need to know that. I'm not saying put your dirty laundry out there or air out your dirty laundry. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is just be okay with just sharing your human experience. It might inspire someone else. And at the end of the day, that's what motivates you to continue to show up. It's like an accountability partner, right? You can't just, talk about a huge hardship you overcame and then do nothing about it. It's like, it's going to eat at you. And especially knowing that people now heard that story. So how are you going to just sit back and play average and be mediocre? It's just not possible. So the talent here is incredible. And I'll put up this brokerage against anyone else. We have diamonds here. Diamonds. And the more I go out there and coach and consult other brokerage owners, I see the vast disparity, the contrast of it all. It's like no other. And I can say that with 100% confidence. And dozens and dozens of brokerage owners have been through our offices, and they're just floored by the talent that we have here, by the production numbers, by the energy, by the environments. They're floored by it. They've never seen anything like it. And I'm not just talking independent brokers. I'm talking about huge franchises. And I've brought in different individuals, as they're here into the training room to talk to these brokerage owners. And they're like, where did you find this person? Like, who in the heck is this agent? They're completely like dumbfounded by it all. Like, how are so many talented people under one roof? I've walked them through and they've heard, Isaiah giving classes. They've heard Jermaine giving classes, Sergio, Rio, Rudy. I brought many individuals. Danielle walked in one day, just kind of walking by. I pulled her in and it's like delivered a sermon. And they're like, with their hands up, praising the Lord. I mean, that's how impactful it is. You got diamonds all around you that have realized the pressure of getting there. And you don't shy away from that. This peer pressure is good. It's going to make you better. No one walks through the doors of A's and Associates and walks out less than. That's an incredible feat. Nobody walks out less than. One, the energy and seeing all the people who work hard at what they do. Huge takeaway, right? Andres, the speaking, sharing their journey and their growth in such a short period of time pushes me to be better and work my ass off to be on stage next year. The good peer pressure we're talking about is very evident in our brokerage, and it consistently pushes us to improve ourselves in our business. It's synonymous. It's in our DNA. It's in our philosophies, right? Do the work. Do the work in all aspects of your life. Don't just sit back and think that it's only meant for someone else. It's meant for every one of you. I would love to give out nothing but legacy awards, and it is a possibility, and I see that. But it's a far different person than who you are today. Understand that. But there's already a step-by-step process being shown to you on a daily. Like, don't quit. Keep going. Basic stuff. Don't stop marketing. Reach out to your clients. Go deeper. This is the place where you can take it to that level. And one thing I will never do is promise you that I can do it for you, like many other places do. You have to do it. You have to build the skill set and the mindset required to be able to handle a $20 million business. These individuals are skilled, but it took many, many deposits over time in order to get there. And time is going to go by either way. Why not make the necessary deposits to improve yourself? We're still early on in 2023. I want you to think bigger than what you thought of at our business planning meeting in December of 2022. You got more in you. And you're under the right conditions, in the right environments to make that possible. You just have to decide if that's going to be the case for you or not. Then market every day. Reach out to your clientele base every day. Improve yourself every day. Set out systems and processes for your business every day. Cecilia, the event was so inspiring to me in so many ways. A's and Associates is a family-oriented business helping and supporting their agents to become the best versions of themselves in all areas of life: business, personal, relationships, health. The three wonderful speakers were an example of this. Thank you for the opportunity to attend. And thank you. And we had a great conversation. Cecilia, she's just new to the brokerage. She's been in the business. So she's seen the contrast of different brokerages and what we're about. And again, I know I'm preaching to the choir here. I know you understand that. But what I want you to know is that you have another gear inside of you. You do. And when you keep going, you'll look back like at what was I complaining about with all this pressure, right? I wrote about how I was feeling, but I got through it because I gave myself no other option. So guys, thank you for joining me for this episode of Mindset Mastery. Let's recalibrate and recommit to the things we must do. With that being said, have a great day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye now. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Badass Agents Podcast, brought to you by AZ & Associates and Do the Work Coaching and Consulting. You can watch this and other episodes by subscribing to our channel on YouTube or by visiting us directly at badassagents.com. And of course, you can listen to this episode and many others on your preferred podcast provider.